Good morning, Rabbi Sai. LeAliyat Nishmat Chaim Elefant. Rabbi Sai. In just a few days, the Masechta that has all the ingredients. It's super short. It's 48 daf. It's super geschmack. It has agadatas, the most in all shas. Sugis that we want to learn about. Gaiva, we'll finally put that Indian to rest. Where Moshe Rabbeinu was buried, etc., etc., etc. Easy, from the easiest Masechtas. It's an opportunity to join and to tell your friends and bring your friends along to join. I don't know that we'll have a Masechta like this coming up anytime soon. We have Gishmak Masechtas coming up, Gita and Kiddushin, but not like Soita. Yes, there are 9 daf about Soita and the Gishmak, but the whole Masechta is phenomenal. So join mdy.com if you want to join. It's Kedai, you standing right over there. It's a good opportunity for you to join. Yes, you, yes. Somebody get up and chop that guy right now. Give him a free Gemara. So, yesterday 233 people played Kahoot, and 44 people got all 4 answers right. And I want to share with you the winner. Avi Kamiansky did this. He put all the names into a program. And here is the winner for $200. Today's winner. And I thought that's very, very interesting. I know who that person is. He's from London. And guess what? He gifted me this exact name. So I know who he is. So it's your nephew. Elio, what's his last name? Salam. I think that's who it is. Unless somebody stole his name. Listen to this, Rabbi Isai. Good morning, Rebelli. Always looking for a new and innovative idea. Please see attached new recruitment incentive to bring more people to the world's best daf. Shimi Leafman doesn't stop for a second thinking how to improve, how to get more people. Stenders have been kindly sponsored by Yisrael Kornbluth, LeAliyat Nishmat's mother. This incentive is only for Manchester. If other locations want to do the same, they can reach out to me via their local reps. Check out this promo that he has going for the Chaver Manchester. If you bring 2 people to the shir from Masechta Soita, the most geschmack in Masechta is going to come up for a long time, you get a free stender and a free Gemara. So check it out. And if you want to do the same thing in your neighborhood, reach out to Shimi. He could sell you some stenders. We'll find a sponsor for you. Dear Rebelli, this one was very moving. My teenage son is at a point in his life where he struggles with Yiddishkeit. Still, you're very much part of his life. Recently, he related to me that he saw you at his ball game where your son was playing for the other team. As he went up to bat, for fun, he started singing the famous Geshmak to do the daf. 2 strikes later, things weren't looking so good for him. He said to Hashem, if I get a hit, I'll learn today's daf. The next pitch came and he hit a home run. Yes, he did. He whacked it out of the ballpark. True to his word, he learned the daf when he got home. I choke up writing this because he doesn't daven or put on tefillin. Not to mention learning. Yet somehow, just decided you inspired him enough to think about learning a daf. Thank you for being such a positive influence and role model on the next generation. David Katz, MD Wire since Megillah. Unbelievable. Sroel Goldstein, to my esteemed MDY family, I'm thanking you all that are behind the scenes with the Arvei Pesachim project. It's amazing to see how much time I really have in my hand. For the old timers, please watch the emails and the post shir. I don't know how you could do that. Okay. It's like 10 minutes long sometimes, the post shir. It brings you back to the good old times, hearing the email stories and the comments from all of us back in the days. Hearing my email on how we then appreciated Yosef's editing is like a joke of what he can do nowadays. Thanks again to everyone that makes this great shir happen, and the real thanks to every single person in the shir from far and wide, because without you, Reb Eli would still be in Chaniche. My little brother, Ze'ev, Benny Gilson's little brother from Manchester. Here you go.
Get over here!
Only in Manchester, they still have the get over here thing. This was very moving. 2 Satmar Hasidim showed up during davening. They left Yerushalayim at 6 o'clock with a taxi. They were here in Eretz Yisrael for 24 hours. Their grandfather made a Hatzlacha. They wanted to see MDY live. Occasionally, when they get hold of internet or whatever, they're able to watch a shir. They wanted to see this live, and they missed it because there was an accident on Highway 1 coming. It took them over 2 hours to get here. So, tremendous shout out to Moshe and Shimon Elik from Muncie. Keep on going. He told me he has to bring more satmar to balance out the belzers that we have. We have a lot of belzers. We need some satmars. Was inspired to share a small wing from above. I've been using the same daily Shemiras Haloshen sefer for many years. As you see Taka worn out. Today's lesson, day 169, speaks about a mace mitzvah, how a Kohen and Nazir may be mitama themselves for them right on your sugya, on our sugya that we've spoken about many times. Although I haven't signed up for Arvei Pesachim, it has inspired me to review Hilchos and Arvei Pesach to get myself refamiliarized and be more ready. Thank you for the continued inspiration. Wishing you, your family, and the wife Chag Kosher Sameach. Mechi Wurzburger, Toronto. And finally, Rabbi Yisai, you thought that kids on MDY, kids are learning Torah. Here's a subject. My son drew a picture of you during MDY Kids. I'm very happy about the picture, but during MDY Kids, okay, fine. This is what some kids do. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what it represents. I have a niece who, based on drawings, she helps the kids with psychology. I have to send it to them. Huh? Eli Stefansky, I saw. From Yisrael David. 8-minute daf. Okay, I hope you like it. Rabbi said the koil is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood. The koil of the month is sponsored in honor of my daughter Eliza becoming a kala to Chaim Elefant from Toronto. I have no idea what that is. Another Anonymous. And Yosef is not here. There's a new one, right? Let's make a cheshbon. There's Anonymous from Lakewood. And Anonymous, what was the other thing? That he should have clarity, right? That was the one. All right, Mazel Tov. The Masech is sponsored by Maaser. The Masech is sponsored by LeAliyat Nishmat Chaim Elefant by Anonymous. The month is sponsored by LeAliyat Nishmat Moshe ben Yehuda, Holocaust survivor. Second sponsor of the month, Anonymous from Flatbush for continued Brocha, Maaser, and clarity. This is the clarity, so somebody else. Third sponsor of the month, Landy Family, LeAliyat Nishmat Yisrael Chaim ben Yeshaya. Fourth sponsor of the month, LeAliyat Nishmat Chaim Elefant. Chaim ben Ya'akov Shmuel Zechariah Brocha by his Westside friends. Sponsor Arvei in honor of the I didn't read this before. In honor of the get I gave. I should only have Hatzlacha, Brocha, and Simcha. Amen. In memory, I hope his wife doesn't watch this. His ex-wife. In memory of Larisa Chaya, Bas, Boruch, Rafael, Naamat, LeAliyat Nishmat Shmuel ben Ze'ev, Rafael Shlema, Yekusiel Aryeh ben Matel Rus, father who had a stroke, is unresponsive. A lot of tzaros in Klal Yisrael. Westside, the art of the month. We're looking for a sponsor for the art of the month. Meanwhile, for complete refuah, this individual gave 3 months, another individual gave a month, and now it's time for somebody else to step in. The art of the month for complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. Shas is never boring, and there's always a curve that the Gemara sends us. It's never. Oh, thank you. One of these sugyas that are just very, very different than all the sugyas, Yishmak is sugya, but all about dead people. I have a shayla for the olam. I know what you're going to answer me, but there's a little trick here. What body part is considered dead right now on us as we're living here? Be quiet, you. Anybody that learned it? What do you say? Nails in here. They're both good. There's one more. All skin? Skin is not matam according to you. So the answer is there is a part of our body that has a lot of dead skin. Very good. The heel. And we're going to see that. Is it mitzdarif to the rest of the body for rekev? We're holding, believe it or not, on top of Daf Nun Aleph Amud Aleph, the schus, or for shlema, for somebody I know very well, that wants Ilum Shem. Eizu meis sheyesh lo rekev. So we're discussing this interesting concept of rekev. Rekev is dust from a decomposed body. We said it's a ladle full of dust that causes enough tumah for a Nazir to be megaleach. Eizu meis sheyesh lo rekev. Meis shenikbar orum. So, first thing is, the dead person has to be buried without any clothing. So Rabbi say, here's the condition. The bottom line is that anything added to the dead body is mevatel the body. You hear what I'm saying? Anything. If you add one tissue to a dead body, you put a body in a grave and you put a tissue on top of him, and then he decomposes, and you take that dust is not metama. Why? Because you added a tissue to it. What if you add clothing? It's not rekev. What if you add another body? Take a whole body and let them decompose together. Do you have rekev? You would say yes. The answer is no. Because you just added something to this body. You added something to this body. It doesn't work. You can't add a thing. So if you can't add a thing, what about your own hair? The mace's hair. What about his nails? What about human waste? What about a fetus? What about zera? All these shilas we're going to go through. Torah Rabbana. Eizu meis sheyesh lo rekev. What are the conditions? Meis shenikvar orum. Step one, nothing else besides the dead person. There's a guy that wanted to be buried. He said this Maaser, but there's another version of it. He wanted to be buried with socks. So he dreamt, other dead people came and said, please, spare us. We don't want to smell those socks. We're talking about, obviously, MDY socks. These people, I'll say the Maaser. It's good to say the Maaser anyways. There's a very big veer. There's a story that's not true. There happens to be another story that is true. My son, my Bechor, was wearing MDY socks 2 nights ago, and he won $135,000. I'm not going to say how. He won $135,000. He showed me a picture of him wearing the socks. He said, I knew that if I wear the socks, I'll win.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes people wear them a few days more than necessary, and that's why it has reach ra. But anyways, the story that's not true is that a gvir asked in his tzava to be buried with his socks, and they came to the Chavri Kedisha, they said absolutely not. And I remember when my mother-in-law was nifter, she asked that certain diaries of hers, she wanted to be buried with her, and the Chavri Kedisha gave us such a hard time. I think at the end they were masking, we told her, she's tzaddikas, she wrote about her Yisurim, she wanted buried, they were masking, but they don't want anything buried together with her. So he said, I want to be buried with socks. They said, no. And afterwards they found the letter. He said, look, I'm a big veer, and even my socks I don't bring into the caver. And I just saw this story in Pesachim, and that's why I said the Maaser about our very good friend, Dr. Epstein, who told me Mefurish. Back in the day, he was very, very sad about the passing of his wife. And he said, look, I don't intend to ever go back to Chicago, which he's there right now. I don't ever intend on going back, and I have a house there with a grand piano, and he started naming off all the unbelievable stuff that he accumulated over his life. He says, I have nothing from it. The piano doesn't fit into my small apartment, the brake front doesn't fit here, nothing fits, I'm giving it all away. And as soon as he said it to me, I was thinking, that's a person in this world. You don't bring anything with you, not even a pair of socks. Aron, you have to be completely unclothed. Ba'aron shel shayish, in a... So Yoshi did a little thing. There's not a lot of charts today. There's nothing really to show. The one on the right is how you have rekev if it's a casket made out of marble, which doesn't decompose, and a floor of stone, which doesn't decompose. However, if you have clothing or wood, we know wood decomposes, or even brick could crumble. As you see in New York, a lot of those buildings, there's a whole problem over there. Everybody has to redo their building, right? You know what's going on. So brick has a certain shelf life. Nikvar Oy agabi ritzvah shel avonim, zeh omei sheyesh lerekev. Nikbar b'ksusoi ba'arin shel eitz, oy agabi ritzvah shel leveinim, if it's made out of bricks, zeh omei she'ein lerekev. Because anything that is added to the rekev, to the dust, which doesn't belong to the human body, ruins it. Pashat ruins it, is mevatel everything, even though it's not a roiv or anything. Omar Ula. Ein rekev ela haba, says Ula halacha. Rekev must consist of 3 ingredients. Min ha-basar, u'min ha-gidim, u'min ha-tzomos. In order to have this dust, you have to start out with flesh, ligaments, and bones. Sinews, ligaments, all the same. Eisvei Rava Lu'ula. Ask Rava, Rekev Abba Min ha-basar tar. It says that if the dust came only from flesh, it's tar, so you can infer from that, O min ha-etzem tameh. If it came from a bone, it should be tameh. V'avagav deleke basar. Says Gemara, you're right, it's good, you medayik. Well, so let's be medayik a little differently. Rekev Abba Min ha-basar tar. It's tar because it doesn't have the bone. But ask the Gemara, okay, so you got away with one thing, but you said you need 3 ingredients. 2 is not good. You just told me all you need is meat, flesh, and bone. But you really need sinews and ligaments. Says the Gemara, it's impossible to have bones and flesh without sinews. They go together. That's how you attach the flesh to the bone. And Memela, it's obvious that we're referring to all 3. Comes out according to Ula that a fetus, as the Gemara said yesterday, according to Rabbi Yochanan, that a fetus without any ligaments, if it's a whole body, it's metama. According to Ula over here, it wouldn't be metama. Omer Rav Shmuel, Barabba, Omer Rabbi Yochanan. Shnei meisim shekvarim zem zeh. If you take 2 bodies and you put them together in one grave and they decompose together, nasu galgalin zelazeh. Galgalin zeloshin over here. Again, it's Nazir, so this is Lashonis that we're not familiar with. Galgalin means it becomes a mevatel, it ruins it. You would think if one body decomposes, you have enough dust to create tumah, and you have another body that decomposes, you have enough. So 2 of them together are double the tumah. No. One is mevatel the other. Because you can't introduce a foreign object to each body, and each body is foreign to the other. And we're going to come out with an amazing halacha here. But it says before the opposite what you just told me. If you have decomposed dust from 2 bodies, it's tamei. Omar Rava, Hasam, Shekavru, Ze'ev b'fnei atzmoi, v'ze'ev b'fnei atzmoi, v'kivu, v'amdu amolet harvad, rekev. Says the Gemara. Whoa, I don't know why that didn't work. Oh, here we go. I didn't notice this. Let's do that again. I saw it, he sent it to me, I didn't, what's going on here? And rekev, ela abba min ha-basar, you need 3 levels. Here we go. Basar gidim v'atzamos. And the hat. So,
what about tachrichim? How would you say about that?
Tachrichim will ruin it, of course. We're talking about if you want to get to the tumah of rekev. You don't have to. I could ruin it for you. I could put tachrichim, you don't have it. You're right.
The hat ruins.
What?
The hat ruins.
The hat ruins it. That's right.
So these mass graves, they're all ruined.
No. Time out. We have different ways of doing tumah. We have bones. We have a kavat tzomos, a half a kavat tzomos. We have roivat tzomos. Mass graves have roivat tzomos. The guy with the achrichim has roivat tzomos, all that tzomos. I'm talking about a special halacha called rekev, like you see in this picture. You want to take a ladle full of dust and make tumah out of it? It doesn't work if it was created from 2 dead people. In a mass grave, you wouldn't have rekev, but you have roiv, binyan, minyan, etzem kesayra, you have a million things. Huh? You have oil, you have everything besides rekev. Rekev is very strange and rare. Now, Rava says like this. Here's a massive halacha. I thought it's a tremendous chiddush to me. But it kind of makes sense. And we're talking about a lot of halacha l'Moshe Sinai over here. So not a lot of questions. Not everything goes with logic. Again, if you take two dead people, like in this picture, and they decompose, and you take one ladleful of rekev, of dust from the two of them, no tumah. But check this out. If each one was buried individually, and you take a half of ladle from each one, and together, the Gemara now understands that together they have a total of one, exactly one, then it is metama. What's pshat? Because when it decomposed without any foreign object. Just what? It's missing now some of the dust. Why is it missing? Says Taisvis, this worm called Ash came in there and ate half of it. How's it possible you have a whole human being and you have a half? Oh, it's possible. I'll give you animals came and ate it away. So now, says the Gemara, says Rav, tremendous chiddush. I could take a half a ladle from this mace on the right and a half a ladle from this mace on the left and put them together, and now I have a complete tarvud rekev, which is metama. This halacha, Taisus points out, we already had this halacha by a revi's dam. I can take a little bit of blood from this guy and a little bit of blood of this guy, and together it's metama with the oil. So this is right. And I don't know, for some reason Taisus says we could compare things, and we're talking about Allah L'Moshe Messinai over here. Huh?
Does it have to be decomposed or can it be cremated?
No, it has to be decomposed. We're going to see in a second. He's asking if cremation is also decomposed, ashes. So it has to be done naturally, not by human interference, and also it shouldn't be done by accelerating the process. Okay. So remember this halacha for another 2 minutes from now. Now here is dead really on our body, and once you chop it off, it doesn't belong to the body anymore. You never see a barber taking care of the hair that he takes it, throws it in the garbage. It's dead. It doesn't belong to the body. So Mamela, once you shave off the hair, and you buried it with him, it's a foreign object. It's like taking tissues and putting in the grave, taking diaries and putting in the grave. Tachrichim, here, it's all the same thing. Now there's certain things that are not mitam. So the first one on the list are teeth. Teeth, even though they're part of the skull, they're not mitama. Why not? Because teeth, the Gemara neither explains, a human being is not born with the teeth. You don't see them. They'd be in there somewhere. They're not there. Hair and nails, also on the list, because they don't heal themselves. They're done. Once it grows, it's finished. It's over. It doesn't, huh?
Sometimes people are born with some hair.
Correct. I didn't say that's the reason. I said it doesn't heal itself. Not because he wasn't born with it. Teeth, he wasn't born. Hair, he's born, but it's a different hair. The hair that dies never, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't regenerate. It produces new, but not, okay, fine. So, very interesting. In this week's Ora Merkaz, there's a beautiful article by Rabbi Schomburg regarding dental implants. The way dental implants work is they take bone from a dead person, they grind it down, because what happens is they try to get the tooth to connect to the body, and they take this material and they try to rejuvenate the gums, the bone, and make it live. So there's a number of questions. First of all, you're not allowed to have anah from a dead person. Are you allowed to have anah from a non-Jew body? No. Chiddush. Even from a non-Jew, you're not allowed to have any anah from a dead body. What about Rabbi Schomburg, a kohen? Could he carry in his mouth bones from a dead person? Tumah. Oh, the same child had on a cornea. Yeah, that's the child. He brings it in his thing. So there's different halachas. At the end of the day, then they are matter, and does it become part of the new body? Very interesting shaylas halacha here. I do want to point out the Orim Merkaz this week. Check it out. The very, very famous Gemara in Brocha, Daf Hey, I think, Daf Hey or Vav, that Rabbi Yochanan lost 10 of his boys, and he used to walk around with a necklace, and then he would say, Dain Gamarlas Dasira beer. I can never remember the words. Dain Gamarlas Dasira beer. And there's a shayla there. What exactly was it? Some say it was a tooth. Tooth is not metama, like we just saw over here. It's not metama, so he used to walk around with the tooth. And he would console people that lost children. Others say, no, it was actually, and if you look on the side over there, I forgot what it was, like Taisus Rid or something, Mamish on the side. Next to Taisus, he says what happened was his 10th kid, obviously a small child, like a baby, fell into a pot and boiled away. Nothing was left. Besides, I'm reading over, besides this little luz bone. And he took that bone, and he said, it reminds me, who's the first Gereba? Not the Sfasemis, the Kiddush Harim. He also lost 10 sons, and he would say, the one Nechama he had, the people come to him, they lost the kid, he'd say, Itchemaya, he lost 10 kids. That was his Nechama. And Rebbe can walk around with this thing to be Menachem people, and they say, is he having enough from it? No, to be Menachem somebody else is not a hana, it's enough for that person. Okay, different shilas. But if you hold that it's a tooth, so we don't have any questions here. So, chutz min hashinayim v'aseyor v'atziporin, hair and nails are not metama. Ub'shas chiburon, but if you do this is called the yad. The tuma, let's say, is the meat. I hold on to the handle, the hair of a human being. Let's say a person has long hair, he's a Nazir when he died. You hold on to the hair itself doesn't have any tuma, but the hair is attached to the body, which is tameh. So that makes you tameh. You're holding onto a handle, so you're tameh. Guy has a very long tooth. Hold on to the tooth. Also part of the body. So the Rishonim here, Rashi especially, says, talking about here, they used to have a certain time, like, all right, you need a haircut. It's already way beyond, because I had a big problem here, like, here is not something that's oimil galech. It's not like it's ripe and now it's about to fall off the tree. It's not like there's a certain date you have to take a haircut. Okay, so you're talking about you didn't take a haircut in 2-3 months, it's already over. You got to go. Wherever you go, people are yelling at you. So you're on the way to the barber. The person's on the way to the barber and he gets into an accident, doesn't make it. Sorry, when the galeach, the gazes, he has very long nails, he has to get rid of them. I'm reading the gazes dummy. Do we say since it's already right there, ready to go, so it's as if it's already detached from his body, namitama. Or dilma hashtamiya mechubar, but right now, or perhaps no, right now he didn't go to the barber yet, so it's part of his body. Says Gemara we just said Rabbi Barachana that what time the gazas. He says if you shave off your hair, then it becomes galgalan, it becomes like a tissue, it becomes something different, a foreign object. So it's because he shaved it. Holy goes as like he says you have to shave it off your head in order to be galgalan. But if it's attached to that, it's part of the body, it's tummy. No, not a riot. Holy goma. Gaz is a raising galgalan. One thing I can tell you for sure, says Rabbi Barachan in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, if you shave it off, I know 100% certain that it's a foreign object. Loy gozaz. But if you didn't shave it, I don't know. I'm in a suffix. I don't know. So I told you what I know for sure. I know for sure shaving off hair is a foreign object. What is the halacha if it's attached? That I can't tell you. Don't be medayik for what I'm telling you. What about the dead skin on the bottom of our heel? It's not part of our body. It's a foreign object. Does it add up to the rekev? Michal Lasri, famous Rav, very funny, almost like a comedian. So he says that now we're in the ikvus of the Mashiach, when the door of ikvus of the Mashiach, we're in a generation of a heel with all this dead skin. You can take a needle, poke yourself in the dead skin, you won't feel that at all. But if you tickle it, the person starts jumping. So maybe it's a door where Good shtuchs don't work. A nice joke goes a long way. Ki amrin and rekev haba mekuli meis. We say that the halach of rekev is because it comes from an entire body. But the rekev that was produced from the heel, not oidilma loishna, or perhaps there's no difference. The rekev that comes from a heel, even that skin, is also part of the halacha. Tashma Tana Yeshaya rekev haba mishnei meisim tame. We explained the halacha when you have two dead people, and each one produced exactly a half a ladle. You put them together, you combine them together, you have a full shear. Let's just say it outside. If you have exact shear from two mason, that means I used the heel skin. How else did I get a half a ladle? I used everything from this dead person, everything from this dead person. Together I have one ladle full, meaning I used all the available dust, including the heel. This dead person used heel skin. Maybe, in other words, maybe, because as Taisus explains, the ash came and ate half the whatever it is, or most of it. So maybe I have leftover dead skin in there. And it's not mitzdaref to the shear, and this rekev is not mitamet. Says Gemara, either give kuli meis because they're v'chanami. I mean, what I don't understand 100%, why do we have to go to this farvarf in the case of two mason? Why don't we just talk about one mace and say, if you have rekev from one dead person, maybe it includes skin of a heel. If somebody has a good answer, let me know. Either give kuli meis because they're v'chanami. Elachi going to give chad aver because they're chakev. Says Gemara, you're right. If it came the way you thought it came, a whole dead person, you're right, 100% it's considered rekev. My question is, what if we're talking about a decomposed leg? The part of the flesh that decomposed is next to the heel. Now I want to know, did the heel, interesting shayla here, did the heel cause the rest of the leg to decompose in an accelerated manner, in a quicker manner, because it's already dead? So maybe dead skin makes other normal skin decompose quicker, and that would be a big no-no for rekev. It wouldn't work. Teiko. What about a baby, a fetus inside its mother? Especially back in the day, they didn't have what we have today. Many women used to die during childbirth, etc. So she passes away with the baby. Do we view the baby, the fetus, as a second dead person? And a second dead person, we said, is galgalin. It ruins it. It's a foreign object. Throughout Shas, so let's go according to the Mandama that says that the baby is literally part of the mother. Very interesting halacha when we were learning it back then. In Chulin, I think it was. Person takes a knife, goes into a human being, into a mother, takes off her kidney while she's alive, detaches the kidney. An animal, you have a cow, goes in there, takes off the kidney, leaves it in the body. Then the animal dies through shchita. Shech the animal. You're allowed to eat the kidney and not allowed to eat the kidney. Anybody? Not allowed to eat the kidney. Why? It was detached. So what if it was left inside the body? It's not part of the body, foreign object. Shchita doesn't work. You go into a cow. You chop up its fetus into 1,000 pieces. Shech the mother. You're allowed to eat the fetus, no problem. You're allowed to eat everything. The chaylev, everything. It's ben pekua, the halacha of ben pekua. I mean, it's fascinating. Sometimes the ben pekua, the baby cow, is more part of the mother than the mother itself. Because if you take the kidney off the mother, it doesn't work. But if you take the uber, it remains part of the mother. Okay, fine. So there also, do we say uber yerachimai, is the mother like it? Is the baby like part of the mother? It's not a foreign object. The says, but since it's about to come out, mifresh parshmino. Okay? Says the Gemara, maybe because it's about to come out, so it's a separate object. And if you're going to tell me at the end of the day, anything that comes out of the mother is not part of the mother. But anything that stays in the mother, is part of the mother. Daf Yomi Beis, sponsor for Hatzlacha, Varilei, Ben Elisa Simcha Sheina Masha, and Elisa Simcha Sheina Masha, Bad Brocha. LeAliyat Nishmat Chaim Elefant, the members of the HBA Group and their families, Amen. As the Gemara, a foreign object inside the woman, over here it's fakert. It's counterintuitive. If it didn't form yet, if it formed, we said, oh, it's eventually going to leave the mother. It's its own baby. And Mamela is not part of the mother, maybe, on that side. But over here, the Zera didn't form. So where's it going to go? It's going to stay there by the mother. Oh, so it's part of the mother. Or maybe it originated from a foreign place. So Mamela, it's considered separate from her body. Based on these ideas, what about human waste? And the Rishonim point out immediately, it's not talking about only a woman's waste. It's talking about a man's waste. But we're talking about a uber. We're talking about this. So we're going to talk about a woman. But human waste, is it part of the body or not? In other words, to have rekev, and in the rekev there's human waste, and I'm assuming 99.9% of human beings that die have human waste in them. So is human waste considered a foreign object and galgalin, and it ruins the rekev? So you're going to ask me, so how in the world could you possibly have rekev? That's the Gemara's kasha. But the Gemara wants to know, how do we view human waste? Very interesting. Since a human being needs food, it's like oxygen. So it becomes part of their body. But at the end of the day, it's a foreign object from another source, and therefore it's not part of the human body. What about skin? According to Matel Rus, that says it's machlokes whether skin is metama. According to Matel Rus, that says skin, Jonathan, is not metama. So if you have a foreign object, skin, I believe, is the largest organ on a human being. So you have the largest organ on the human being that's not metama human being, that decomposes together with the rest of the body. Does it add up to the rekev? Does it ruin the rekev? Is it galgal into the rekev? So what? So is perish. So is a uber. Uber. Ein lecha mechuber gadol meuber. It's tied with an umbilical cord. Doesn't matter.
Interesting contribution in America. It plugs up the hole, but in Israel, we clean out the intestines. You stick a hose and clean. Take it out.
Jews also?
Yeah, that's what we do.
We used to do that in Detroit too.
He said in America. This is all America. They clean out the body.
In
Israel.
America they don't. In America,
In America also.
we close the holes.
No. Depends.
Put a hole. Okay, we'll talk about it later. The hose goes in the mouth, I'm assuming.
Mouth, ears, nose,
Oh, wow.
down below also. Close everything.
No, I'm talking about the water hose.
Oh, we stick a water hose up the rectum and we clean out.
Why? Don't you want to clean it out the other way?
No.
Where's it going, the water?
It comes out. It ain't pretty. It comes out the same way it went in.
I don't want to die.
Okay, you're not going to die. You're going to survive.
Where don't they do this? In America? Let me move back to Chicago real quick. Oh my goodness. That doesn't taste good, Avi. Comes out of the mouth? I'm kidding. You gotta do tshuva. What about boogers? What about saliva? Is it considered a foreign object and ruins the tarkov? If you tell me that waste, saliva, everybody dies, not everybody, but a lot of people die with saliva, it ruins the tarkov. Rekev, the metamech mishkachas law. How in the world can you ever have a rekev? Says the Gemara, it goes like this. You want to be l'chumer sabadatz. You want to do rekev. I want to do rekev. So I go to a special badatz place and I do these things. Here, I have it here. First, you give a diuretic. You put a hose in this way, that way. I don't know. Ask Reb Avi how to do it. The guy's still alive, by the way. You empty out his stomach from everything. Then you shave off his hair. I'm not going to get into Taisus, it's a little gruesome. This is step one of shaving the hair, says Taisus. Then, listen to this. I'm machmer. I want to get a rekiv. I need rekiv going on here. It's like the guy that we had in the other Masechta that did every aver in the world to get to that aver, to bring that carbon. Okay, you're talking about, you want to get to rekiv. You have to take 3 steps. Step number 3, you dunk the body with these monkeys in Chamei Tveria, and therefore loosening off the skin so the skin is gone. But you can't do it to that person. But I want to be machmer rekiv. Once you get the skin off, and you took the hair off, says Tyson, now you go a little bit lower. If you hold the hair is a problem. So now you can be machmer and start plucking the hair directly out of the flesh. Says Tyson, the hair is connected inside under the skin. Ayin sham, for a good meal, for a good breakfast. Says the Gemara. So first of all, the Ashkei made the kolim. You take this made the kolim business, like it's the stuff that the guy used in yeshiva. You know, the guy was stealing his stuff, his food. So he poured in some of that gishmaka diarrhea stuff, and the guy ate it. And 5 minutes later, you see this guy running to the bathroom. Larisa Chaya. And he never stole food again. So you ask the guy in yeshiva where you buy it, made the kolim. V'sach yinasha, u'shloki b'mei tveria, imamish, you boil off his skin in mei tveria. Great. You give him a haircut, you boil him off. Amar bai. Naktinon. Meis shetchonoi ein loi rekev. If you take a dead person, do you have the video? I wasn't here. Let's watch the video. Hopefully it's not too gruesome. I'm not joking. If you are a little queasy, don't watch this. Go. It's Meishet Chonoi. It's animation. It's not.
Oh, real?
He says, I wasn't sure. That's why I didn't do it. Fine. Now you have this stuff. Once we showed it. You have it. Look, it looks like dust, right? This is for Gemara. You're lucky I didn't bring a real one here. So you have this ground up beef. Is it considered rekiv or not? It's the same consistency as dust. Says the Gemara, no. That not. By the way, I have to tell you Maaser. There's a famous story that Satmar likes to say. We had the 2 Bachrim, the boys here. Rabbi Yoelish, when he was only 24 years old, he's a Rav, and he went on a big campaign not to have mixed seating by weddings in America. So the big gvir in his neighborhood.
What? No, it wasn't in America.
In Europe. Fine, in Europe.
Okay.
So, good point. So he goes to the gvir and he says, do not have a chasana like this. So the guy didn't listen to him, so he had a whole thing. He went and he made a machal by the wedding. The gvir got so upset at him that he came and he smacked Rabbi Yoelish right in the face. So Rabbi Yoelish told him, you should be ground. He gave him a curse. The next day, the guy was in his factory and he fell into the grinding machine. And he, just like that picture, he came out the other side. And from then on, that's what Satmar Hasidim say about him. He never did it again. There's a story in Chanoch Teller's book about a guy that his hand got stuck in a grinding machine and his fingers started coming apart, and a guy saved him.
That's a great story.
And the guy pulled him out of the grinder, and he noticed that he has a tattoo from the war on his arm, and he remembered the number. And then he became a taxi driver, I think the Mai says. He whatever, he's done with the grinding, he had enough of it, he lost his fingers, became a taxi driver. One day he's in the taxi, and he notices a guy that came off the plane from Ben Gurion, and he noticed his arm, the same number as the other guy, but 1 digit off. He took the guy immediately and ran to the guy's house that saved him. And he says, maybe you know this guy. Turns out that they were brothers. But what if he ground them up into small pieces? So that's not considered rekiv. But that grinding spoiled. I don't have to tell you what it looks like when this meat spoils eventually. No, at the end of the day, you have all the components. You have flesh, sinews, and bones. Or maybe as to decompose as a human being, not as ground beef teku. Tony says, if the dead person is missing 1 finger, 1 anything, so you cannot make rekev out of his body. If you exhume the body, there's certain halachas. If they take some of the loose earth all around it, how deep, that, you take it all. because the juices of the dead go into the walls over there, into the dirt. And a basic kfaras consists of 3 graves. Once you find 3, now you have to be concerned. There's more graves. You have to look everywhere. You bring in those Yerushalmis to make machaz, the whole thing. So now, what if you have 2 bodies and the third body is 99%? It's missing 1 aver. It's not a basic kfaras. As Taisves, logically that makes 0 sense. Why? Because if you're concerned that there's a cemetery, who cares if one of the bodies is missing a finger? You buried 3 people and one of them is missing a finger. What does that have to do with the cemetery? Of course it's a cemetery. It's 3 people. Says Taisus, you see from it, Taisus doesn't say it, but the Rush says, based on this question, I believe, that it's halacha l'meish mesina. You don't ask questions. Halacha l'meish mesina says 3 is basic kfaras. Minus 1 finger is not. Right? A dead person, we said, has roiv minyan, roiv binyan, v'roiva, a quarter of a kav of bones, or the sladle. You want to compare. The Mishnah over there says, a kazayis of a dead person should be metama of a live person. Says Gemara, you can't compare alive to dead, because dead people have all these halachas, a whole list of halachas of metama, but a live person doesn't. Says Gemara. If you're going to tell me that the live person's 1 limb fell off and decomposed, or is still attached, decomposed, one shot. According to Ula, you just told me that if you have an entire body minus 1 finger, it's not rekev. So if you have 1 limb from an entire body, that is rekev? Impossible. Says Gemara, okay, you read it wrong. Mikatani hames, it doesn't say that you infer, a dead person is the opposite of a live person. Hakam ashmalon, shumes. I'm just telling you, don't compare a live person to a dead person, because shumes, any type of dead person, in other words, there is a dead person that has rekev. How does a dead person have rekev if it's his entire body buried? Shumchai, ain't rekev. Don't compare live to dead, because dead has a certain chumrah that live doesn't have. What's the chumrah? Don't infer like you inferred. The chumrah is that if it's an entire body, it has rekev, and a live person will never have an entire body, because then he's not alive if his entire body decomposed. By Rava, here give kishuchai v'chazar umeis mao. So a person was alive. He lost, let's say, they amputated a leg, and unfortunately, they buried the leg, and the leg decomposes. And then the human being died. So now they buried his body together with his leg, and now you have the full body. Mao, kigimir rekev, darkiv kshumeis. Does the leg count towards the rekev? Why? Maybe you need a whole body to die. Right now you have the full body. Toshma, same. We're going to bring from the same place. It's slightly different. There's no comparison between a dead body and a live body. Why? A dead body is roiv, v'roiva, umalitarvid, rakov. Time b'chai, v'chulu. Time mishum chai, hames, yesh le'rakov. You see from here that once the person dies, there is rekev, even though his leg died earlier. Says Gemara, Anon Ymous. No, don't infer it like that. Hakam ashmalon, the shumes yesh le'rakov. There is a type of that person that's different than a live person, that a person who died completely has 1 halacha at the same time. Shumchai ein le'rekev, but a live person never has rekev. That's how you medayik. Westside, have a wonderful appetite day.